Hey guys, Brett here. This is our raised bed that was doing really well up until about a month ago, and then we started getting blight in the tomatoes. We started getting hornworms, armyworms. In this bed we've experimented with polyculture. We had champion tomatoes, basil, rosemary, Swiss chard. There's some green onions, some stevia, and some wildflowers to help attract the pollinators. And as you can see around me, things aren't so good now. Here we are in the middle of August, and for a couple of months we've been in a severe drought, and we're dealing with some pretty extreme heat. Here in southwest Louisiana, our temperatures have been highs in the 90s with heat indexes well over 100. And as you can see, it's really taken its toll. These tomatoes were really flourishing, and then with all the heat, the tomatoes would just sit on the vines green. They wouldn't ripen up, and the ones that did ripen, the bugs would get to them. Sometimes even before they would ripen, the bugs would get them. Now don't get me wrong, we did get a good harvest. We did get quite a few tomatoes that we were able to put away. We made some barbecue sauce and some salsa, and we have more tomatoes in the freezer ready to make more batches of those things. But as time went on and the heat stuck around and we didn't get any rain, little to no rain, this is what we're left with. We had to chop down our tomatoes. Now we did break off some suckers from the tomato plants to make new plants for the fall. And I'll link the video up in the corner for the video where we propagated those, so that you guys can learn how to do it too. Because of course, getting free plants, getting anything free, is a good thing. But seeing our garden in this kind of condition, or one of our gardens in this kind of condition, has really made me think. And you know, I've been kind of seeing stuff in the news, seeing stuff on Facebook about troubles with crops worldwide. And it makes me wonder, what is that going to do to the grocery prices? Now, of course, there's people out there that are saying grocery prices are going to go up. We don't know that. I would be inclined to believe that, especially when you've got major crop failures in Europe. And if I'm not mistaken, a few months ago, the governor of Maryland asked for a state of emergency to be issued for the entire state of Maryland because of the floods affecting the farmers' crops there. Now, hearing these things in the news makes me a little concerned. And I promised myself I wouldn't come right out of the gate as a YouTuber and talk about these things, but it's in the news. That's what's happening right now. So I believe it's more important than ever for us to be as self-sustainable as possible. Now, some of you may think, well, I can't do that. I don't live on a homestead. Well, I want to let you know that homesteading is a state of mind. Modern homesteading is an idea of self-sustainability, about doing things for yourself as much as you can. I remember a time after Hurricane Rita when the power was out. We were volunteer firefighters at the time, and we were serving hot meals. And I remember a lady came in and she was just bawling, crying. So thankful that she could get a hot meal. Now, I'm not tooting my own horn, These meals were provided by another agency. All we were doing was serving. But this lady was crying, saying that she didn't know how she was going to feed her kids. And that moment stuck in my mind. And I remember thinking, I don't ever want to be in that situation. Now, of course, there's times that, there's things that we can't foresee. There's things that we can't even prepare for. But the things that we can prepare for, I want to do so. And if you've got the mindset that you want to do something, that you want to do something for your family, for yourself, why not get started? There's always something that you can do, no matter where you live. You can put up, even if you live in an apartment, you can put up extra canned goods in a cabinet under your bed. Learn some skills. Learn how to can. Learn how to do some basic carpentry. If you have a garage, piddle in your garage. Play around with some wood. Learn to build stuff. YouTube is a virtual treasure trove. We're still new. We haven't put out a whole lot of videos yet on how-tos. Those are coming. But there are other YouTubers out there who have how-to videos on purifying water, water bath canning, pressure canning, dehydrating, preserving food, raising food. We're working on it. We're going to bring you that kind of stuff. My point is, I think it's important in this day and age where things are so unreliable. Start somewhere, guys. I can't stress it enough. We did. We started somewhere. Before we moved on to this homestead 3 years ago. Well, actually, if you look back, and I'll put the link to the video up in the corner, but we started with nothing here. But before we moved here, we started working on our skills. We started studying canning. We were dehydrating. We were learning to cook from scratch. We had a little garden at our old place, but we were in the suburbs. We only had so much space. But even still, we were eating from that garden. Now the gardens and the fruit trees and the rabbits and chickens that we raise, it's not enough to sustain us. We still grocery shop, but it sure cuts down on the grocery bill. And it's also, there's a certain peace of mind to knowing that I can go in the backyard and find something to eat if I'm hungry. If there's nothing on the grocery store shelves. So I'll leave you guys with that. I hope you think about it. And if homesteading is on your mind, prepping is on your mind, or just doing something to be more self-sustainable, there's no better time to get started than right now. We'll see you next video. This is Brett with Broussard Homestead.